Well, good morning. I have to say that I am so thankful to be here today to talk to you about the topic of entrepreneurial development and to introduce you to our model called the Entrepreneurial Flight. I have had a great opportunity to be the CEO and co-founder of a company called Venacell. And Venacell, what we do there is we work with private owners and we work with their teams in order to help them to build sustainable companies, not only companies that will thrive today, but also companies that are designed to thrive into the future. And I want to ask you a quick question. I want you to actually think about the ramifications of the question. So, why is it important for us to have sustainable companies? Why is it important not only to the owners, but also to every single person in this room and to our communities? Why is that important?
Employment.
Good. So one thing we know about the businesses is private companies make up a large part of our economy. They provide for a majority of our jobs, so employment. And they're critical to the success of our communities. They're absolutely critical for that. We know that they provide for our middle class, and we know that they provide us opportunities like international opportunities, intellectual opportunities, emotional opportunities, financial opportunities. So these businesses are crucial for the sustainability of not only our culture, but our economy. We also know that these business owners, the ones that are leading and running our companies, are from the baby boomer generation. And that baby boomer generation, what that means is we've got our businesses being run by people who are in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s. So if you ask a business owner if they run their business very well, typically what they'll say is, yeah, I think I do a pretty good job. I'm pretty confident. You know, it's still around. Been doing it for 20 years. I know how to do that. That's their answer. So they are confident in their ability to keep the business running. And the key words there are, they are confident. They're confident as long as they're there to run it. So they know how to maintain the jobs. They know how to keep the customers happy. They know how to keep the cash working. They know how to keep the vendors paid. They know how to keep all the relationships working. They know how to pay the taxes and keep everything going, banking, etc. They know how to do that. And if you ask them how they learned how to do that, typically they'll say, I learned by doing it, by just doing it. I kind of grew up with this business. I started it, I founded it, I figured out how to do it. So that's how they learned. They have the knowledge, they have the skill, they have the background. They have all of the tools in their toolbox to be able to keep this business going. And you know what their biggest dilemma is as they age and as they move forward is where are they going to find that next generation of entrepreneurs? Where do they get the one that will come in and be able to run the business, as well as they have? Where do they find the one that they can trust? Because how do I trust someone if I'm running it? How do I get out of the way? So at Venacell, our mission and our passion actually is to help to move that baby boomer generation out, to transpose that class, bring in a new class of entrepreneurs, ones where we can have them have sustainable companies that can go and thrive into the future. So I'd like to introduce you to this entrepreneurial flight model. Here's our entrepreneurial flight model, and I'll just walk through this real quickly with you. On the right-hand side is the entrepreneur's flight. On the left-hand side is the enterprise flight. It is the only model that we know of that integrates the stages of development of an entrepreneur with the enterprise. And it's integrated development of the two that actually makes the sustainability work. What we know is that if an entrepreneur gets stalled at any one of these levels, that the business stalls with it. So if the entrepreneur doesn't grow, the business doesn't grow either. Now down at the bottom here, we've got the nascent stage. The nascent stage is the infancy stage. So it's where businesses they basically have the same heartbeat as the owner. They're one and the same. If anything happens to the owner, typically those businesses will go away. 95% of the businesses in our communities are in that nascent stage, and they stay there. It's a large number. Only 4% get over this first blue line. The first blue line is a significant line because it has to do with control. Down at the bottom, the owner mindset, I do it better myself. If I do it better myself, then I control. When I move over that first blue line, my thinking changes, and all of a sudden, I do it better with others. That means I have to have new skills, new knowledge, new information, not only to do it differently, but to teach others to do what I do. In that middle stage, the developmental stage, that's the highest risk stage for a business. You've got the business owner and overwhelmed and business entrapped, and over on the left-hand side, harnessed in productivity. In those levels, the owner is completely invested, both time and money, and the business is growing fast. And you've got a lot of people that are coming in to help, coming in to do it better. As you move over that next blue line, you get into the sustainable stage. The sustainable stage is where the owner technically is no longer needed for the business to go forward. So if the owner is no longer needed, next blue line, I go from I do it better with others to they do it better without me. So think a minute about how that makes you feel. They do it better without me. Bittersweet. It's great. They do it better without me. Great success. But you know what? Who am I? What role do I play? I've been in this business for 20 years. So do I really want to go there? If I don't, the business isn't as sustainable as it could be. It may not have as much value as I need. As you move up the entrepreneurial flight, it's a choice to be in any one of these levels. So it's the owner's choice. And you can transact a business at any one of the levels as well. It's just as you go up, the value gets higher. Okay. So we know that the entrepreneur has to lead the enterprise. Just as it takes a community to raise a child, it also takes a community to create a sustainable company. The owner can't do it by themselves. It's impossible. Typically, as people, we overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years, and we underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. It's basic knowledge. So, as we move forward, we know that it's the owner's responsibility to create these valued companies, to create the sustainability. It's their job to nurture and to get that done. We want them to create a company of value because to move up in the entrepreneurial flight, you have to have a company of value. You have to be able to afford this next version and the next generation of entrepreneurs, so there has to be money in it. And as they create that company of value, we want to make sure that they're able to harvest that value because they've worked for years and years and years to do it. They've worked hard for that. And in order to do that, they can also harvest the value and then leave a legacy as well, because in the legacy, they've left a sustainable company in the hands of the next entrepreneurial generation to move forward and to not only do it as well as it's been done in the past, but to even do more. So I want you to take a minute, if you take time, think about where you were 10 years ago, and think about where you are today. And I think most of us in the audience would be amazed at how much progress we've made and how really, truly blessed we all are. And if you take a minute to think about our next 10 years, not just your next 10 years, but the 10 years in our communities, and we look at the possibility, we have the opportunity, each one of us, to contribute to these small businesses because we do it every day. We buy from them. We interact with them. So we have an opportunity to intentionally go even farther. And it's not enough just to think and to know and to believe, but it's imperative that we do. Thank you very much.